Alright, ladies and gentlemen, with Season 17 of Destiny 2 drawing closer and closer, and with Bungie saying that this is going to be the best season that Destiny has ever seen, well, it is my job to make sure that you're properly prepared. I uploaded a full-on prep guide a few days back, link below if you want to check that out. But with all the new changes coming, I wanted to give weapons their own video. So in this video, we're going to be going over the top 5 must-have exotic weapons for Season 17. Now, of course, this is my opinion, and I know I'm not supposed to give my opinion on the internet, but I am anyway. So let me know down in the comment section what your top 5 exotic weapons are. Now, you all know the drill. If you're new, and only if you enjoy my videos or find them useful, then feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. But before we get started, a big thank you to War Robots for sponsoring this video. Now, if you somehow never heard of War Robots, well, it's a 6v6 PvP mobile and PC game that has you pilot giant robots into battle, duking it out to be the last team standing. One of my favorite parts about War Robots, and what got me into it, was just how easy it was to start playing. It's not complicated at all. It's literally just a move and shoot. And that's essentially it. Now, the game can get a little bit deeper than that if that's what you're looking for, as it has a wide plethora of robots you can meticulously form into teams to dominate your enemies. So if you're into like team building and all that, well, then it's got it. Also, not to mention the graphics. War Robots received a significant graphical improvement last year with War Robots Remastered. More realistic object detail and lighting. I mean, just look at the difference. Now, War Robots is currently celebrating its 8-year anniversary, and you can check out their Anniversary Expo event where they're offering up some pretty cool in-game prizes. At the start of the event, you will get 150 silver event coins and additionally 100 bronze coins for each year your account has been active in game. Not to mention the brand new robot Skyros, a turtle that can roll up into a ball for greater mobility and protection. I mean, it's spherical. You can download War Robots for free on your mobile device or PC via my link or scanning the QR code on screen. New players will get an armored robot, 2 gecko weapons, 100 gold, and 50,000 silver. And join this anniversary celebration and get a cool share of Demeter and a ton of other gifts. Now, this list isn't a worst to best. It's more of a, all these exotics are great, but I'm still gonna rank them. So starting us off at number 5, and this one was a little tough because the weapons that are after this one 100% deserve to be in the top 5, but this spot was a little tricky, and you could definitely swap it out with another exotic. Sleeper's Simulant. Of course, Sleeper is a very unique linear fusion due to its laser, which overpenetrates enemies and bounces off hard surfaces. I'm not gonna lie, after particle deconstruction a few seasons back, I thought Sleeper's usage was gonna plummet, but oh boy, was I wrong, as it's still one of the most used exotics. I personally think one of the reasons why Sleeper is still so popular is due to its ease of use. No fancy hot swap or reloading, you just point, charge, and shoot. It feels one roll and one roll only, that being boss damage or single target damage, and it does it very well. I think it only took like, what, 3 or 4 buffs and an overall linear fusion buff to actually make this thing somewhat meta. Now, one of the main reasons Sleeper made this list was due to it being solar. If you're not aware, there's like a 99% chance that we're getting Solar 3.0 next season, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had either mods or subclass fragments that aid solar weapons. If you don't have Sleeper, go to the kiosk in the tower and pick it up. If you need the catalyst, because the catalyst is very good, it speeds up charge time and increases ammo reserves, just run some nightfalls once you got the weapon. It'll eventually drop for you. Coming in at number 4, we have none other than a brand new Witch Queen exotic, Osteostriga. Now, we probably all know what this weapon is, but if you're not sure, well, it's a 600 RPM kinetic. Technically, it's poison, like how Thorn is, and its bullets track, thanks to its exotic intrinsic perk, Screaming Swarm. And like I mentioned, it's poison, and because of its column 3 perk, Toxic Overload, when you land final blows or multiple precision hits, it triggers a burst that poisons nearby enemies. Once you've used Osteo, you understand why it's so powerful. It literally does ad clearing and group clearing all at once, and it's a pretty high RPM sub, but not too high that controller players can't handle it. It's also decent at dealing some form of boss damage, for a primary that is, thanks to that poison damage. Osteo really does kind of do it all, and if you don't yet have it, I highly recommend you pick it up. You can grab it from the Enclave on Mars, then once you've ranked it up enough, you can craft the catalyst on it, which essentially enables you to have like 100+ rounds in a mag when you start getting poison kills. Pair it with a good sniper and a rocket to cover your single target damage and big boss damage, and well, you pretty much have a meta loadout. Now, making its way in at number 3, we have Witherhoard. If I had to choose one seasonal weapon to use for the rest of time, it would 100% be Witherhoard. In my opinion, the best seasonal weapon Bungie has ever made, and I'll take that to my grave. Witherhoard is a special geo that sits in your kinetic slot, and its exotic intrinsic perk, Primeval's Torment, makes the projectiles fired from this weapon blight any target it hits and or nearby areas on impact. Then when you add its column 3 perk, Break the Bank, to the mix, well, you're in for a good time, as any target you direct impact is going to be infected by the blight, begin taking tick damage, and then when they die, they blight the ground surrounding them, which can then go on to start doing AoE damage to nearby enemies. If you thought Osteo was good and could do it all, which I mean, Osteo is really good and kind of can do it all, well, Witherhoard takes that a step further. It can add clear, group clear, single target damage, tick damage, AoE damage, and enables great ad control. But it doesn't stop there, as once you get the catalyst, it then becomes amazing to hot swap with other high damage weapons for some pretty insane boss damage. You get a quest for the catalyst once you've purchased the gun from the kiosk in the tower. The catalyst speeds up handling, but more importantly, adds auto-loading holsters. So like I mentioned, hot swap. It's pretty insane. You more than likely already have Witherhoard, and this is kind of just your reminder that, hey, it's still as good as ever. Coming in at number 2, we have Izanagi's Burden, and I'm so glad that this weapon has become meta again. I seriously missed using it. Izanagi's Burden is a kinetic sniper rifle that, thanks to its exotic intrinsic perk, allows it to dish out stupid amounts of damage in a single shot. Honed Edge allows you to hold your reload button and condense essentially every shot in your mag down to one high-powered shot. Then when you throw on the catalyst, it gets even better, which can be acquired by running playlist activities once you have the weapon, because now when your mag is full and you activate Honed Edge, that single shot does even more damage. Izanagi's Burden is probably the best single target damage weapon in the game. Up until you get into GMs, it can one-shot champs. So yeah, the damage this thing can put out in the blink of an eye is unreal. But where Izanagi's really shines is when paired with an auto-loading heavy to dish out even more damage between those somewhat long reloads. Now, unlike the other weapons on this list, Izanagi's is not an easy weapon to use, or at least use properly or optimally, if you will. You really need to practice reload swapping with it, but once you get it down, you might just never take it off. A fun fact, since the start of Witch Queen, my go-to loadout has been Izanagi's, Funnel Web, and an auto-loading Palmyras. If I could, I would put Izanagi's at number 1, but there's a weapon that's even better, and yeah. But before we get into number 1, I do have 2 honorable mentions that in all honesty could have made the actual list, but I'm just gonna mention them here because a top 5 sounds a lot better than a top 7. I don't know, maybe I'll make a top 7 in the future. First is Sunshot. Why, you might ask? Well, it's probably the best PvE hand cannon in the game because of its explosions. It's a primary, meaning its main role to fill is ad clear, but the explosions from just normally killing things allows it to also enter the group clear role as well. You shoot one enemy in a group and they all essentially die. Also, it's solar, and like I mentioned with Sleeper, we're probably gonna get Solar 3.0 and some sort of solar weapon boost, either mod or fragment. Now, Sunshot already puts most things down rather quickly and probably won't benefit too much from a solar damage boost because, well, you're mainly gonna be shooting low tier enemies with your primary. But where the solar weapon boost could come in very handy is our honorable mention number 2, Xenophage. If you're unaware, next season machine guns are getting a 40% buff against PvE enemies and a 20% to bosses. So bosses 20%, everything else 40%. Sadly, Xeno is excluded from that 20% boss damage buff, but it'll still get the 40% to everything else, though I don't know how useful that'll actually be considering, well, it's Xeno, and if you're shooting thralls with it, you're gonna kill them in one shot no matter what. But don't fret because Xeno is actually getting a buff. It's actually kind of just getting reverted back to what it used to be of its own, and that's its RPM is getting put back to 120 from the current 100, though at a slight damage reduction. But if we do end up getting a solar weapon boost mod fragment, well, this could very well be the new meta. Like, I'm literally gonna dedicate a specific slot just for Xeno in my inventory. And finally, at number 1, drum roll please, Rat King. That's right, boys, Rat King main stand up. I'm joking, all right? It's Gjallarhorn. I don't think I actually need to explain why. It's literally point, shoot, and deal big damage. Ease of use is even better than something like Xeno, which might just be the easiest weapon in the game to use. It supports your teammates by giving them Wolfpack rounds if they have rocket launchers. It's solar and Solar 3.0 next season. Yeah, I didn't think Bungie could ever make G-Horn more busted than what it was in D1, but here we are. But I mean, unlike D1, D2 actually has other good weapons where it's like D1, that was like the only good weapon. So Yeah. Also, when you get its catalyst, it just casually gives you 2 rockets in the mag, just furthering how good it is. I'm gonna bore myself to death if I keep talking about it. It's G-Horn. Go get it if you somehow don't have it. But those are my top 5 exotic weapons, along with some honorable mentions that I think you should have at the ready when season 17 launches. But hey, like I mentioned, just my opinion. All right, so let me know your top 5 exotic weapons for season 17 down below. But with all that being said, if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to drop a like, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.